Welcome to Stuff I Like number 1. What is Stuff I Like? Simply, Stuff I Like is stuff that I like. Stuff I Like will be a weekly video series that should come out every Wednesday, and it will be about a single product that I highly recommend. This week I'm going to be showing you a product that I recently acquired. This is the Kilowatt. The Kilowatt is made by P3 Industries, and this is the P4400 model. Now, the P4400 is the base model, but it does everything you need it to do. What it can tell you is the volts of a circuit, how much current it's drawing. It'll also show you watts and volt amps. It'll show you the frequency that the AC circuit's running at, which should be about 60. And it'll also show you the power factor, which basically equates to efficiency. It'll also record how many kilowatt hours that a device uses over a recorded time. Using the Kilowatt, you can figure out how much it costs to run a device. You can plug it in, record it during a normal usage period. Say it's a TV. Say you run this TV for 10 hours and it's 100 watts. That would equal 1 kilowatt hour of electricity, and say you're paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour, that would cost you 10 cents to run it for 3 hours like that. Very useful product for figuring out how much it costs to run a device. But this device will also show you how much current a device is using when it's not doing anything. As you'll see later, you'll see that some devices draw power when they're not even doing anything. To use the Kilowatt, you simply take your device, plug it in, normally this would be an outlet, and it'll show you all of the settings. As you can see, we're looking at volts right now. Our circuit's running at 122 volts. It'll tell us that there's no current being used. Of course not, because nothing's plugged in. It'll also show us the watts and the volt amps. Running right at 60 hertz, 59.9, same thing. It'll show us that we have a power factor of 1, which means that it's running at 100% efficiency. Of course it is, because nothing is plugged in. It's not doing anything. And it'll show us that we have 0 kilowatt hours drawn, and the elapsed time is nothing because we just started. It does not show seconds, it shows minutes and hours. So I'm going to plug in my tablet charger. We go over here to current. Okay, it jumped up. We're seeing that's drawing about 0.2 amps. You can see that's drawing about 10 or 11 watts at 21.5 volt amps, which means that at 60 hertz, the power factor of this is pretty bad at 0.48. Power factors between -1 and 1, and a 1 would be 100% efficiency, and basically 0.48 is not very good. This is my brief explanation. You can do some research on Google if you wish to learn more about power factor. Now our elapsed time has been 1 minute, and we still haven't drawn very much. This won't really do a whole lot with low power devices like this, but with high power devices like refrigerators, microwaves, other stuff like that, you can easily see how much it's costing you to use it. So, now that I've shown you how to use the Kilowatt, let me show you some examples that I recorded. We started out with a CRT television. This thing drew 13.7 watts, sitting there, doing nothing. The screen was not turned on. When we turned it on though, everything went up to about 65 watts, and the power factor was 0.63, which is not very good. Next, I tried a lamp with a 60 watt light bulb, and the light bulb companies really like to screw us over because ours was only 59 watts, but it was rated at 60. Next, I decided to try the dehumidifier in our basement. This thing doesn't really draw anything just sitting there, so I cranked everything up to the max, and then waited. This thing takes forever to finally kick in, but once it does, we get up to 550 watts. Finally, I decided to try the toaster. It only took 1 watt to sit on the counter, but as soon as you powered up 2 slots, brought it right up to 750 watts. I thought, 2 slots isn't enough. Let's try all 4. With all 4 running, brought it right up to 1400 watts. 12 amps, and it dropped the voltage of that circuit all the way down to 115 volts. By far the winner. So overall, I really recommend the Kilowatt. I was able to find which devices are using power, how much power they're using, and is it efficient to leave them plugged in all the time. As you saw, the CRT TV drew 13 watts just sitting there. I can charge my tablet with that much electricity. So you can see that leaving some devices plugged in doesn't really pay off. It doesn't cost a lot, but it can add up. So, really recommend getting the Kilowatt. This is a really nice product, and it only costs 20 bucks. You can get these at Radio Shack, you can get them at hardware stores, and if you can't seem to find one, Amazon has them. I definitely recommend getting a Kilowatt. I've had this thing for 2 or 3 days already, and I've used it a ton. So, Kilowatt is an awesome product. I highly recommend getting one. I hope you liked Stuff I Like #1. Join me next Wednesday for another awesome product that I highly recommend.